this is just this kind of like dark gothic murder mystery kind of thing. That's got to be a really fun genre for you both to get to play in as actors, I'm guessing.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And, the atmosphere of this, the way it looks, the work of the DP Massa, it's as much of a character as any of the actual, people in the film. It's just superb. And I loved it. That was a big part of why I wanted to make this.
Not the case for you as well, Harry?
Absolutely. I mean, the whole landscape of the film, the gothic nature, just how cold and brutal it looked. I really feel that you get a sense of that every single frame of this film, the sort of harsh reality of what these characters are living through.
And just, you sing about the DP just before, and just that was one of my big takeaways, was kind of the darkness and the winteriness and how just moody and atmospheric the whole thing is. And just did that kind of come through onto the set as well? Did you kind of get that atmosphere while you were shooting it? Was that kind of a revelation when you sat down and watched it for the first time?
Well, it's always a revelation for me, just the beauty of Massa's work. We made Out of the Furnace and Hostiles together, and now Pale Blue Eye, and he's just incredible. So there was a sense of it on the set, but nothing like the magic that you actually see, in the film.
And I guess in terms of, preparing for the part for the both of you, like, was there ever any temptation to go back and read some of Poe's work, or did you kind of feel like, since he hadn't written any of it yet, that wouldn't really work with this version of the character?
I tried to read as much as possible to begin with. Certainly his early poetry as well, I thought was very interesting to get an idea of his sense of ambition or how he saw himself as a poet. So that was all very interesting, and then lots of biographies about who he was as a person, and then quickly, to be honest, disregarding it and going back to the script and going, okay, how do I build up now my Poe that turns into that Poe that everyone thinks they thinks they know? How do I where's the room for invention here? So that was my process in terms of my relationship with his work.
I guess kind of in terms of that preparation, did either of you read the novel this is based on, or did you want to just stick to the screenplay?
No, I read the novel multiple times.
Kind of how did that, I guess, inform both of your kind of approach to the material?
Greatly for me, but Scott first started talking about this book and then his script, maybe 10 years ago, that we've been talking about planning to make it. So, over the years reading it, and I always read the books that they're based on, because there's wonderful details that you can steal from the book.
Was it a similar approach for you as well?
Absolutely, yeah. I read it a few times, and it's just so rich. You just get little nuggets here and there. And if I'm right, it's written in the first person, so it's written Landor's side and Poe's side. So you really get an insight into their thinking and what where their attention was at any point. So all of that stuff's really useful to steal.
Letters from Poe.
Yes, letters from Poe. Yes.
This one isn't really so much a question as it is just like an exclamation, but like Robert Duvall?
Exactly, Robert Duvall, exactly.
Come on.
One of the finest film actors ever. I mean, he's just fantastic, such a great guy, and he just loved Harry to bits. And he was only around for one day. I mean, we shot a lot in that one day. But of course, he's fantastic and wonderful guy. And he can't say enough good things about this fella here.
I'm guessing that's very much mutual as well, right? But
I mean, what a special day to kind of spend it with Robert Duvall and Christian. I mean, it was one of those days where I'm constantly pinching myself. It was magic. It really was. Yeah.
And I get to call him Bobby. Bobby and I worked together 30 years ago, and then now and we'd seen each other occasionally, in between, and had dinner occasionally and whatnot. But he's very close with Scott Cooper, the director. Scott got married on Bobby's property, and Bobby produced Scott's first film, Crazy Heart.